Hello and welcome to another episode of Fire Emblem discussion. Sorry I didn't post anything on Friday or Saturday. I was out of town and I'm also not feeling too well. So today is going to be a pretty quick one, a pretty simple video, and I just want to look at some of the reaction to the direct and some of the reaction to the analysis video I put up on Thursday. So let's go look at some comments real quick. So first we have a comment from Ninja Bunny, who says, I like that Three Houses is taking a lot from FFT, so Final Fantasy Tactics. A lot of strategy games nowadays tend to take things from Final Fantasy Tactics, but don't know how to use them properly. So example, Mercenary Saga, which I've never played before actually. I've played Final Fantasy Tactics. I've never played Mercenary Saga, but it looks interesting because it's a tactics game, and anytime there's a tactics game that looks similar to Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, I take a look at it at least. But I haven't played that one, so apparently, according to Ninja Bunny, isn't very good from what it looks like. But I think the more Final Fantasy-esque job class system will actually fit Fire Emblem quite nicely. Also, a cool thing I noticed is that since every character you get presumably starts out in the same basic class and slowly transform into a more specialized class reminds me of Tactics even more, as at the start of Tactics, everyone is a squire or a chemist. They were also all studying at a knight academy that teaches specifically nobles, just like in Final Fantasy Tactics. I think those are interesting points. I personally love Final Fantasy Tactics. This is one of my favorite tactics games of all time. Very few beat it out. I even like it more than most Fire Emblem games. There's just so much customization. There's so you can mold all your characters, even the characters that come like with a specialized class. You can still change their class if you want to, but generally those like specialized classes are like really good. Not always, some of them are less good than others. But you can mold any character, including the main character, Ramza, into anything you want him to be. And I think Three Houses, like Ninja Bunny is saying, could be going in that same direction. It looks like every class is open up to everybody. I mean, the only example we got of someone changing class was Adelgard, or Edelgard. And her being a main character means she could just have like the special ability to change into any class she wants to. But there is also a strong possibility that anyone can learn any class if they go through the necessary steps of learning different weapons or learning like horsemanship and all sorts of other things to be able to level up into that class. So I'm interested to see how they go with that, and if they do it the way Final Fantasy Tactics did, then it will be that you spend some time in a class, or a job, you gain job level ups, which we see that in the after combat screen. We saw like class mastery go up for Petra. So there's a lot of strong indications that this is going to be the case, that Fire Emblem Three Houses will be taking from Final Fantasy Tactics job system, and that's a good thing. So thanks for your comment, Ninja Bunny. I like where you're going with that, and I think that is definitely a possibility. Next, let's move on to Brave Lady Lynn, who says, even after this trailer, we barely scratch other important things that aren't shown yet, like supports, shops for weapons and gear, stat customization for Byleth, dungeons, if that returns, and please a traversable map and other 3D hubs other than the Academy. I'm positive these will get a reveal in time through Famitsu and other trailers, but finally they're now marketing the game, so info will come pretty frequently until release. As for all those things, they basically told us that supports are going to return. I mean, I can't imagine they're not going to. I mean, they talked about building bonds with different characters and whatnot. I can't imagine supports aren't going to be in a Fire Emblem game at this point. They even worked them into Gaiden, which is like a super faithful remake, and I think they did those really tastefully, so I have faith that they'll do a good job again. You know, shots for weapon and gear. I guess they didn't show us, and we'll see what that's like. Stat customization for Byleth. I'm interested to see how much customization we really have with this avatar character, because of all the cutscenes and voice acting and whatever else. Are we going to be able to change his name, or throughout the entire story, are people going to refer to him as teacher, which is going to drive me nuts, because for whatever reason, that's like my pet peeve, is when people refer to their like instructors in school and stuff like that as teacher. That drives me nuts. So I hope that's not the case, and that happened in Breath of the Wild. It was the first time you couldn't name Link, and he was just Link, but even in the very first opening cutscene of the game, it's Link, open your eyes. So if you had named your guy, you know, Tenders or whatever, it would have been like, open your eyes, and it wouldn't have been able to say Link, and that just had more power behind it. So we'll see if they do something similar, if they just never mention Byleth's name in the game, except for in written dialogue. But from what it looks like, all written dialogue is going to be spoken, which means they have to dance around the whole thing where do we not say his name. So that is a thought. Are they even going to change? Are you even going to be able to change Byleth's name? And beyond that, if you can't change his name, how can you change his looks because of the cutscenes and the pre-rendered CGI and all that stuff and the cutscenes and whatever. And then beyond that, if you can't change those things, like, are you going to be able to change, like have a boon and a bane, or are they going to change that up at all? I mean, if they're going to give us any customization, I hope it's in the unit aspect, being able to change his stats and class and starting stuff. But we'll see how that comes out. I'm sure that's something I think we'll learn about relatively soon, because that's something that people get excited about, is creating your own character in these kind of games. Dungeons, if that returns, I don't think... It's hard to say. I personally didn't really care for the dungeons and echoes. So maybe it's just me hoping that they don't return. But if they do return, I hope there's a massive overhaul. And that's something that I'm interested to see as well. And a traversable map and other 3D hubs other than the Academy. A traversable map, I don't know if Brave Lady Lynn here means like Awakening or Sacred Stone style traversable map. Or if you mean like an open world like RPG traversable map. Or if you mean like a la Final Fantasy VII or Chrono Trigger. Or if you mean just like an open world game, like an open world traversable map like Breath of the Wild, where you literally, everything's to scale and walking everywhere and stuff, and get like random battles and stuff with different things. That could be interesting. But I do think we'll have 3D hubs other than the Academy, because I don't think the entire game is going to take place at the monastery. I think there is going to be a turning point where like the school arc isn't necessarily a major part of the story anymore. There's still, you know, stat customization, building units, and all that different stuff. But you're probably gonna have to like choose a house or something. There's gonna be a war and whatever else, and you'll go from there. So I do think we're gonna have other 3D hubs, whether it be like the castle of, whether it be like the castle of the place of the house you choose, or if it's anything, or if it's just like other dungeons and stuff. We'll see. That is something that I thought they would show off in an opening trailer if that was a big part of the game. So the fact that they didn't show it, I don't know how big of a deal it's going to be, because that's a pretty big selling point for a lot of people, like just open world traversal and stuff like that. So if it's not in this really big moment, this really big trailer in a direct, then I don't think it's really going to be in it. But hey, maybe it will be, and it could be cool. Next, Splatoon Blamir. Sorry if I said that wrong. Says, with all this character customization, this is going to be a long game, I can tell. And then in response to Splatoon Blamir's comment, Macaroon says, third tier promotions, please. I hope we get third tier promotions. That was my favorite thing of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. So Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, I got like a day or two. My birthday was like a day or two after Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn release. I can't remember exactly the window. So I got it for my birthday. My mom's awesome. Thanks, Mom, for getting me that game, because it really, that was like when I really was solidified in the series and I loved it. So thanks, Mom. That game's dope. I love it. Anyways, oh, I lost my train of thought. What am I talking about? But anyways, my first playthrough of Radiant Dawn, I had no idea there were third tier promotions. I honestly think my first third tier promotion was Nolan from the Dawn Brigade, which sounds a little backwards. Like, you think it would be like Titania or Har or or even like Zihark or Jill if you're gonna go for someone from the Dawn Brigade, just because those are all people that are closer to promotion than Nolan ever was. But I just really like Nolan off the bat. I gave him Paragon right away, and then after I gave him like Solarity and stuff too. I really liked Nolan my first playthrough. I thought he was so cool. Anyways, when he class changed, I was like, like, it blew me away. Because I had him as he was a warrior. He was a warrior. I had got him to level 20, and I was like, cool, he's done. And then I fought with him again, and he gained experience, and I was like, holy crap! Is there like is the level cap higher now? Is there gonna be another class? I didn't know what was gonna happen. And then he became a Reaver in like the next chapter or something. I did it like at the base with bonus experience because I was just so excited. I want to see what it was, and it blew me away. If there are third tier promotions, keep it to yourself, because that would be an amazing surprise, especially for people who aren't huge Fire Emblem fans, but they're acquainted with the series. Like, maybe they've played Awakening, or maybe they've just played Awakening, maybe they've just played Fates, maybe they've just played Echoes. Echoes had third tiers actually, but that's pretty well known. But maybe they've just played Awakening and they don't know third tiers have ever been in the series, and then they play this. That would be, and it had third tier promotions like just out of nowhere. That would be amazing. That blew me away the first time. And I hope that if it is a thing, they keep it to themselves. Don't spoil me, Nintendo. I want to have a really cool experience. A few of you mentioned this. Mine and Adventure, the Aegis boy, mentioned this. Great username. Macaroon mentioned this. I'm trying to see who else did. I feel like it was mentioned by one other person. I'm sorry if I left you out, but I can't find your comment right now. But Macaroon says, just simply says, referring to, actually I'll read AG's boy. Also, I think doing a combat art uses more durability instead of dealing damage. And then Macaroon also says the 3 removes 3 uses instead of 1 on the bow, referring to the scene where the purple-haired archer lady, her name escapes me right now, shoots the bow using curved shot, which she like switches to the combat art, and it has a little 3 next to the combat art. I mean, it's reasonable to think that, like, we don't see any HP drained a la Echoes, so that probably isn't the case unless it was like just an early build and they didn't have that done yet for whatever reason. I feel like that's something they would have ready to show off or something, though. I don't know if that's hard to program. I don't know anything about computers or like that kind of stuff, or coding games. But this it removes durability is a really popular theory for this right now, and I'm not convinced. I mean, if that's the case, cool. I mean, it'd be a good reason to bring back weapon durability after Fates and Echoes not having it. It'd be a good balance rather than like costing HP, because there's there's very few skills that it was worth paying health points to use a skill that did like a slightly larger amount of damage, but didn't allow you double or anything like that. I mean, unless it was like double lion or the double shot from the killer bow or whatever, it just didn't really make sense to use it all that often. There were some like really weird situations where you would want to use like curve shot was a good one, I guess, for better accuracy on archers and stuff like that. But I'm not convinced that combat arts use weapon durability. If it does, great. I think that's a good idea, and I think that could lead to some interesting decision making in combat scenarios. But we need to remember that that isn't necessarily the case. We don't know for sure. That's something that I expect combat arts to get a couple minutes in the next like trailer we get. I think that's a really important thing they'll touch on, that and like open world exploration or like 3D dungeon exploration. I think will get touched on in the near future. It could also mean that curve shot can only be used 3 times per map, which I think is a little weird and limiting. I don't think that'd be the case. So all of this to be a roundabout way for me to say, I think there's a good chance that this is the case, that it will remove 3 uses from your bow instead of 1, like a normal like attack would. And that's what I want it to be. But I'm just trying to curb expectations for us and realize that that isn't necessarily the case. We don't know for sure. And if it does happen, great. If it doesn't, well, I'm sure whatever replaces it will be fine. All right, guys, that'll do it for me today. Thank you for watching and listening to me ramble about this game. I'm really excited for it, and I hope it's good. Thank you all for commenting too. It spices up the channel. I really love the discussion we're all having in the comments, and I hope we can continue to do that. Especially, I'm happy to share your thoughts, and I love giving you guys some spotlight when you have good ideas and thoughts on the channel here. So please like, comment, and subscribe and all that stuff, and comment down below. Maybe if I didn't read your comment, give me something good. Give me your best shot, your best thoughts. Maybe I'll share them in a future video, and I'd love to actually. But I do read every single comment I get. I mean, that's not too hard right now because there's only like 23 or something like that on this video, on this last video as of right now. Maybe there's more now. I doubt it. I think that video is pretty stagnant now. Anyways, I do read all the comments. I appreciate every single one. So don't stop doing that. And make sure to like these videos. Helps with visibility. Help people find more me. find more me. So that this channel can grow. We can have a better community here. Bigger community here. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'd love this to grow into something that we can all enjoy and have fun with. And please make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. I post daily. Except for I need to apologize to my subscribers for last week, Friday and Saturday. Again, I was out of town visiting family and did not have an opportunity to upload. And with that, it means I missed the arena episode for last week, which I feel bad about, but don't worry. It'll be coming back this Friday. We already have it all set up. Jotari already put together the animation for me. It's great. And it's going to be Ryoma versus Shannon from FE4. So I think that it's a really interesting matchup. Maybe give your predictions now. It could be cool. But comment and all that good stuff. Bye, friends.